I am back for you true believers. Actually, I should say my contrarians, right? But uh, I'm gonna say this over because no one's on the stream yet. But I did reach over 1,000 subs yesterday, and I really want to thank everyone for subscribing to the channel to get me to 1,000 subs. Like, when I started this almost 2 years ago, it was really just a hobby, and it was only because a friend of mine, Marcus, told me I should do it just for the shits and giggles. Because he told me, stuff that I say sometimes is funny, even though it's unintentionally funny because I'm not trying to be funny. I was just saying stuff to let people know. Milk is back. What's up, Milk? Or I should say, Glue. Um, so yeah, so to everyone just popping onto the stream, just want to let everyone know that yeah, I've reached 1,000 subs a few days ago. So I want to say thanks to everybody for subbing. To my friend Marcus for telling me to do this 2 years ago because I really didn't think anyone would listen to me, to be honest. And when I always joke on my older videos, I always say I only have one subscriber. I'm talking about my friend Marcus. So he's the one that got me to do this. And like as I promised, I did say that the wife, Mrs. Contrarian, was gonna do like a little video showing herself when I hit 1,000 subs because until then I wasn't gonna show her to get monetized. But she is gonna do something coming towards the end of this week. I'm not gonna say just what yet. She's actually keeping it a surprise from me too. So, but we have discussed it. So I have an inkling of what she's gonna do. But she will do a video, and I'm gonna do that as a celebration for me hitting 1,000 subs, guys. Which is, I know, not a big thing, but it was a big thing for me because I don't. This isn't a job to me. I literally just did this as a hobby and work, full time, and then I work out and have my little side hustles, which is as a martial arts coach, life coach, stuff like that. For 2,000 subs, I got to get a War Machine Iron Patriot costume. Uh, no, we'll save that for 10,000 subs because that, cosplaying, those cosplay outfits cost a little bit of money. So we're gonna wait till I get 10,000 subs to do a War Machine Iron Patriot costume. Um, but yeah, I'll do that if I hit 10,000 subs. Like I can order one of those from the comic book store. Like the comic book store, any local comic book store, usually you can go there and they'll have like a catalog for outfits if you want to cosplay. Most places have that, and if not, you can look it up yourself. But I would rather just go to my local comic book store to patronize them, um, and have them do it for me. And usually they don't really charge you anything for doing it. Like they'll just order it to the store and you can pick it up from the store. But they probably have like um, like deal with those people that provide those cosplay costumes because it's definitely beyond my ken to create one myself. Like those are professional cosplayers to create their own costumes. But yeah, if I hit 10,000 subs, I wouldn't mind doing a little cosplay for you guys. um, but yeah, if you guys haven't already, like I said, please subscribe, like the channel. I mean, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, hit notifications, share, stuff like that. That helps spread it, helps the algorithm make it grow when they notice that people are actually watching. Which, like I said, I was surprised that people really did. I think I really took off because I decided to share my thoughts on Fannie Wilson, DA Fannie Wilson in Fulton County, Georgia. Um, dealing with the Donald Trump um, case, and I got a bunch of people this subbed after that because a lot of people agreed with me. A few people disagreed, but more than not, they agreed with me. So I ended up getting a lot of people just off that one video, honestly. All right, glue or milk. But so because I'm in a celebratory mood, I thought we would just talk, discuss something lighthearted, something that you will rarely ever hear me like discussing usually, just because I think I hit an age where I don't have to talk about this and care anymore, which is hip hop. Let's have the hip hop debate. Let's talk about who are the hottest rappers, who's the hottest person alive, who's the hottest person to ever rock the mic, dead or alive, who won these who won these rap beefs. Let's get into all of it. So Hundo already started. He said, "What do you think is going to happen to Diddy?" I think the feds are going to get him. Like I said, the when people kept when people kept under like kind of undermining the severity of the investigation a month or two ago, and he was like, "Well, he hasn't been charged with anything yet," and I'm like, "You guys act like it's nothing that his houses got raided. Not one, not two, but all three of his mansions were raided by the Department of Homeland Security over sexual trafficking. That is a big issue. It doesn't matter whether they didn't charge him yet or not. That's because the feds don't do things on a local level. On a local level, they don't have the resources that the federal government has, so they'll just throw everything at you and hope and see what sticks. That's not how the feds do it. The feds have the resources to let you hang yourself. They will collect enough evidence on you that when they finally do charge you, oh, you getting those graduation papers and something, and they're going to stick. The last person they raided, Department of Homeland Security, on sexual trafficking charges was R. Kelly, and he's still in prison to this day afterwards. When the feds come after you, they will get you. I mean, and look at the way he's moving. Like after the investigation and all that, a smarter man would have stopped posting on Instagram, but he kept posting. And then on top of that, then this video leaks of security footage from a hotel of him beating the shit out of Cassie, and he decides to put out this fake ass apology, which made the situation worse. Like, I don't know if he has a crisis management team or PR people. I'm pretty sure he does as a billionaire music mogul. I'm pretty sure he has like a huge PR and crisis management team along with his attorneys that he's hired to handle this investigation against him. But they need to be fired because anyone who let him or told him to make that apology online did him a huge disservice. It made him look more guilty. Like not one person bought it. And then he left his comment section open on all these videos where people are just roasting him. He like if that was if they were working for me, they will all be fired. Of course, I wouldn't have put myself under the gun like that in the first place, but that's a different situation. Um, Let me get back to the to the comments. Um, duh, duh, duh. Israel Adesanya. First of all, let's chill with the N words on here. All right, let's keep it family friendly. But I don't think I look like Israel Adesanya. You know, he's a Nigerian guy. Although I think he lives in New Zealand, but he's originally from Nigeria. I do have Nigerian friends whom I've asked. I was like, "Do I look Nigerian?" One guy said I did, but I think he said I didn't. He said I look more like I don't know, the Hassa people. He didn't say I look Igbo or Yoruba. He said I think he said I look Hassa, which are the tell me if I'm wrong, any of my West African followers, but I think the Hassa of the tribe they look sort of like they look a little Ethiopian like or East African looking. I don't know if that's the Hassa or someone else, but other than that, then it was one Nigerian girl I dated in college. I don't think I look Nigerian to her because because she told me my lips and nose my yeah she told me my lips and nose were too small. Didn't stop me from smashing, but whatever. uh, and her mom liked me too when I met her at a birthday party. But African moms are sweet anyway, so well at least to me, like every African woman I've met has been like pretty sweet. Caribbean moms too. But anyway, let's have the hip hop debate though. Oh yeah, glue. You can't see it because it's hidden. Um, so when I'm doing a live stream, stuff that is potentially offensive, it comes under hidden comments, and then it lets me know whether I can show or hide the comment. So you're not going to see it. Only I can see it, the host, and then I can choose to either hide the comment permanently or show it to everyone else. It's um, but yeah, a day late and a dollar short and an IQ low. So I'm gonna time you out. This that mental genius said he wanted to see my toilet, guys. Creepy. Like I said, some of these trolls are just underage people who have nothing else better to do with their lives. They're sort of emblematic of the American public education system. Others are just grown men who probably need to be on a watch list. Quiet Storm 808 says my wife is Nigerian. She speaks Yoruba. Yeah, like I don't think I don't look Igbo or Yoruba. I mean, most Black Americans don't have a definitive look because we're literally a mix of people that came from West and Central Africa like 300 to 400 years ago to America and mixed with European folks. So we're not gonna have I don't think a strong one-to-one resemblance to any particular country back in the motherland or any tribe within a nation back in the motherland. So, but yeah, I think one of my friends told me I look Hassa. I think because he said I look more East African looking, which makes sense because I've also been. People have also asked whether I was Ethiopian. They said the same of my father, who's lighter than me. Um, Someone thought I was from Barbados. Like other black people don't think I'm regular black. Like they think I'm something else for some reason. I remember in college, this girl we went to. I remember she took me to the. We went to go vote together because our black student union had set up a vote drive so that people who needed to get to their local electoral booth, like within the area, could do so. And we were in school in the DC area, so we drove back here to the Baltimore area and did that. And she was like, "Where do you want to eat?" And I was like, "Well, you." I was like, "Let me treat you." I was like, "Let's go to this Caribbean spot." And I took her to this this Trini restaurant, Trinidadian and Tobago, right? And she's like, "That's where you from?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Why you think that?" She's like, "I don't know. You just got this look." And so I was like, "Okay." No. I was like, "No, I'm just regular black." Anyway, uh, what's up, Eric? I see you back. What's up, buddy? Semper says, God bless you. Thank you. Glue says, when you get 10,000 subs, you're going to get Iron Patriot or War Machine. Whichever one's easier to get. I think War Machine is probably going to be is more common than Iron Patriot. Because I don't think I even heard of Iron Patriot until the MCU. I was only familiar with War Machine. And actually, when I first saw War Machine a long time ago, like in the 90s or whatever, I thought that was just one of Tony Stark's costumes. I didn't know that was his friends. I didn't know that was Rhodes' um, uh, outfit, exosuit. Brandon Tisdale says, "Yo, what's up?" Mortiza, what's up? But let's not use the N word in the chat if you don't mind. We have a mixed crowd, so let's not let's not do that. But what I will say, guys, like I said, let's have a hip hop debate. Like I said, for everyone just popping in, um, I hit over 1,000 subs a few days ago. At least by my estimate, I checked yesterday and saw it. So I must have hit it like 2 days ago. Um, so I'm in a celebratory mode. Um, so I said, let's just do something that I rarely will ever discuss, which is hip hop. Like, I'm at an age where I really don't get into the hip hop debates anymore like the younger folks do, or some older folks my age still get into it, and I think they sound goofy because it's such a subjective conversation. But we can have it out. Who do you think is the best rapper? And we can talk about who's the current best rapper. We can talk about who's the best rapper ever, like dead or alive. We can talk about the different rap beefs. The most current one being Kendrick and Lamar, and the previous beefs. A lot of them over the last 10, 20 years, I'm not that familiar with, to be honest. Um, we can get into all that real quick. Eric says KRS-One. Good choice. All right, Sonny, you're gone. So anyway, oh, and DMX. All right, definitely. DMX is definitely in my top 10. So for me, and I said this in a previous live stream, even though it wasn't really about rap. I think it was one of my streams where I was just saying we can talk about anything, like last week. Um, my favorite rapper, and I think arguably the best rapper, if not the best, one of the best, would be Biggie for me. And the, and I had always thought so, but it was a guy who came on to the Math Hoffa podcast. If guys don't know, Math Hoffa is a famous battle rapper in New York, and he has a few LPs as well, but he's more known as a battle rapper. And he has a really big podcast. He does this. I like the way it's set up because it's set up with them in a barbershop. I think he owns it too, but it's like a barbershop in Brooklyn. Um, and he invites all sorts of folks from the hip hop world onto his platform, and he's had like really big people on his show. Uh, and I can't remember who the guy was he had on the show that day, but the guy, I think it was actually, I think, a West Coast rapper, to be honest, and he was saying Biggie was the best. I think the guy was from the West Coast, and he gave the reasons why, and I have to agree with him. So I'm going to use his reasons for why I say that Biggie's the best. And he basically said, like, if you if you had like five different categories for assessing who the best rapper is, he said Biggie fulfills all five categories. One, he's a lyricist. That's a necessary condition. All the best rappers, people who are arguably the GOAT, although for me Biggie is the GOAT, but for anyone who's arguably the GOAT, they have to be a lyricist. Another necessary condition is that they have to be an MC. Like they have to move the crowd in the original definition of what an MC was. because not every rapper is an MC. Some of them are just studio rappers. All right, okay, Boris. Yeah, I know people say I look like Don Cheadle. I really don't. I look better. Sorry. I'm not. I'm not even trying to be um you know up you know stuck up about it or anything like that. But I look better than the dude, and I'm like 10, 15 years younger than him. So yeah. Anywho, um, my I think you asked me that yesterday. My favorite Kanye was album was probably the first one, maybe the second one. I would say maybe the second one because I remember the second one was when we were kind of clowning him a little bit when he was talking all this bullshit about that was the college dropout album when he was talking about like he he had this broke five broke. He was like, "Oh, you think them degrees are gonna keep you warm?" And I remember everyone in college at the time was like, "Yeah, our degrees are gonna keep us warm because we're gonna make money from these degrees." And I remember the old Facebook, the old Facebook when it was called the Facebook in 2004. We even had like a little group on Facebook saying our degrees will keep us warm to make fun of Kanye. Like I've liked his music, but I've always thought he was a dickhead. So that hasn't changed. Anyway, so yeah, so Biggie, like I said, is my favorite, and like I said, like this guy that came onto the Math Hoffa podcast a year ago, enumerated the reasons why, and he said had these if you assess the best rapper by five categories, Biggie hits all five. One is he's a lyricist. And like I said, all the best rappers have been lyricists, and not very many people could hang lyrically with Biggie. Anyone who could hang lyrically with Biggie were up there with the best as well. People like Nas, Method Man, J.A.C, Pac, Big L, um, Jadakiss, um, Big Daddy Kane, um, and a bunch of others I can't even think of. Um, they they were all lyricists. Then I said second was MC. They have to move the crowd. So like he could if if he was at a party or a club or you just heard his music at the club or a party, it set it off. Like even after he died, like 10 years later, you go to a club and they were still Biggie music blasting. People were still people were still rocking to it. Um, Third category was they had to be able to have that street shit. Like Biggie had street cred. He had that street shit that hardcore dudes like. Like if you was a one of those hardcore type cats, like you wasn't into all that pop, that bubblegum Drake type music. You wanted that hardcore, Mob Deep type, you know, type stuff. Like he Biggie could fit that role for you. He had that street shit for you. So that was the third thing. He had that street cred, right? Fourth, which is almost completely opposite to that, was he could make radio friendly music that had mass appeal. So which is not something that a lot of rappers can do. Some of them can do the stuff with the hardcore street shit, and then some of them can do the radio friendly mass appeal like Drake. But a lot of people can't do both. Biggie could do both, and that separates him from a lot of rappers. What's up, not comedic? And then the fifth one is storytelling. In his songs, he could tell a story like Slick Rick. There's not too many people who had that skill like Slick Rick, where they could tell a story through a song. That alone will keep you listening to a song when he can just break down like his life when he was younger through a song, or tell you about a whole crime that they committed and got away with or whatever. Like he did a song where he played two different characters in the song talking about how they're gonna rob people. Like Biggie could do that. Like I said, not too many rappers could do that, but Biggie could do all five of those things. And most of the greatest rappers usually could do at least three or four of those things, but I don't know too many can hit all five. Possibly the closest to that is like Jay-Z. I think the way I look at it, Biggie is Michael Jordan and Jay-Z is Kobe Bryant. So that's how I look at it. But and Tupac is, well, Tupac is who would I make him to be? I don't know, but yeah, but yeah. So for me, Biggie was the goat, and I'm open to people saying it's someone else. Cam says peanut butter and jelly time. We taking it back to like what 2002. um, Eric Guapo says, "What do you think about Busta Rhymes? I used to like him as a kid, but kind of lost interest in his stuff as I got older." He's definitely one of the rap legends to me. Definitely. I mean, his flow, he he's a lyricist. Like he, DMX, and Busta Rhymes, Biggie, DMX, and Busta Rhymes all went to high school together, and I think they used to battle rap each other as well. So they're all up there. Like they all used to battle rap each other. I know Jay Z and all of them. They used to battle rap each other because I think Jay Z went to school with them as well. Because um, you know, Jay was also from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, but he was from the Marcy Home projects, whereas Biggie actually lived in the nice part of Brooklyn. Like people don't know that. Like where he he went to go sell his dope on the corner on the bad part, but his where he lived was actually a nice area in Bed-Stuy, whereas Jay Z wasn't in a nice area. He lived in the Marcy Home projects. So I'm not sure about Buster, but Buster like Biggie was also Jamaican and lived in Brooklyn. And I think it is a connection that a lot of the best rappers are of Caribbean descent because the origins of hip hop come from the Caribbean, specifically from Jamaica. The roots of, for people who don't know this, so we say the birthday of hip hop is in 1973 with the house party thrown by DJ Kool Herc. His sister actually threw the party and he DJ'd it, and I forgot the name of the rapper, but basically those two are the founders of hip hop, and they got their start because he's DJ Kool Herc was originally from Jamaica, and the roots of hip hop come from a music called rocksteady, which was a Jamaican music genre. Um, I don't know. Still gonna send it is on some Rick and Morty stuff. Ali Hay says, "I don't think it is a nice side of New York. All of New York is terrible." That's not true. First of all, New York today is so gentrified that it's. I mean, they're still. Don't get me wrong. They're still the hood in New York City, but a lot of it's been gentrified. Like those bad areas that rappers came up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. A lot of those places have been gentrified, especially Brooklyn. Like Mike Tyson came from a really bad area in Brownsville, Brooklyn. That area's been gentrified. That style's been gentrified. All that, like you see more hipsters in those areas now than you see thugs. They even made it's so I mean it's so well known that that area has been gentrified that they actually made fun of it on a parody on Saturday Night Live like 5 years ago. Kevin Hart was hosting that episode of Saturday Night Live, and they were talking about corner boys as in like the local drug dealers on the block, the dope boys, and they showed how since they were gentrified, these dudes were out there like getting like it was like getting pedicures and walking little foo-foo dogs while they sitting there on the corner. It was hilarious. But yeah, it's so well known that New York has been gentrified. Like I said, they even made fun of it on Saturday Night Live. Um, but New York is not terrible. You sound like someone who's never been there, to be honest. In those times where a lot of those rappers grew up, yeah, it was pretty bad because we're talking about the economic recession of the early 80s, followed by the crack epidemic. And before then, the 70s was like the era of like a lot of gang violence in New York City. Like before, like most people know about all the gang stuff in LA, but New York had gang culture as well back then, but it differed. It was more of a local street by street sort of thing. It wasn't organized. It wasn't organized gang culture like it wasn't out in the West Coast. But things were pretty bad in the 70s. It was hip hop that kind of mediated that the gang culture of New York at the time, as well as like Philly uh, and the rest of the New York tri-state area. But yeah, all of New York isn't terrible. That just sounds like someone who's never been there. Rodolfo, you're gone. You thought was I ignored you, but you're gone. Kunta Kinte, what does it matter? If no, I no, my wife is Filipino. I have images of her on my in my um in my channel. Like I've made several videos of her. I don't know what it matters. But I think I'm sorry, you might have been talking to someone else when you said be quiet. Um, Sometimes I can't tell whom you guys are referring to. Uh, so, yes, Eric, some of them are making new accounts. Like, remember the guy yesterday who did that, whatever that dude name was, but I blocked both his accounts because I'm under the impression that when you ban someone, it'll block it'll block their entire IP address. So no matter what account they try to come up under on YouTube, it's blocked under the IP, so they can't come back under a new account on the same IP address. But I don't know because it just says on my end hide the user from the channel. So I don't know if I don't know if that permanently bans them or just hides that particular account. But I know if that I am allowed to actually block them, and it will just stop any account under that IP address from coming back. I'm not talking about why I didn't marry a sister and why does it matter? Like, stop dick policing. You you can date whom you want. I'll date whom I want. I have particular tastes, and I've made several videos of why I have my taste. If you're so concerned, you can go look at those videos and see exactly why I have my particular choices that I've made. And I'm talking about hip hop today, guys. Try to talk about that. So anyway, I said Biggie's my favorite. We can talk about the Kendrick versus Lamar. Sorry, Kendrick versus Drake if you guys want. I had to watch a few videos to basically keep abreast of what started the beef and all that sort of stuff because it's just not something that I delve into anymore like I did when I was in my teens and in my 20s. Because I think, once I'm in my 40s, I'm too grown to be caring about hip hop squabbles. Yeah, Hellrell, you're right. You're exactly right, sir. You're exactly right. Like, he's on some pro blackity black bullshit, and I've made several videos about what I think about that. Like, go take that shit to O'Shea Duke Jackson, because all that pro black shit ain't flying over here, son. Dude, I don't give a fuck. Like, you're on my channel talking about lost individual. Kunta Kinte wasn't even real, right? Alex Haley made up a lot of that shit that 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 he did that sort of autobiography Roots. A lot of that stuff was made up that Alex Haley did. I bet you don't know that. I doubt you even actually read the book. The, I don't care if you're West African. I'm talking about a book made by a black American, a foundational black American here in America, Alex Haley. Alex Haley is not African. He's a black American, foundational black American. He wrote the book Roots, which became a huge mini series here in America in the 70s. Then they did a follow up to that from the sequel book that he wrote called Queen, which was a follow up to those original characters. She was like the great grandchild of those original characters from Roots. He also was helped Malcolm X write his autobiography. You don't know any of that stuff, so you need to stop talking about stuff you don't know about. You're using the name of someone you don't even know, but you heard about it. Yes, you watched Roots, but did you read the book? Did you realize that later on they found out that Alex Haley made up a lot of that stuff, that it wasn't actually historical? I don't care if you want to engage. If you listen to me previously in the chat, and I'm trying to be nice, I'm talking about hip hop today. If you want to have a black discussion, pro blackity black discussion, we'll do that another day. This is something for me to celebrate, hit my 1,000 subs by talking about hip hop, because I always have people to come into the chat asking me stuff like who's my favorite rapper and who did I think won the rap beef between Kendrick and Drake. So that's what we're talking about. We can say we can do that discussion, but not today. We'll do it later this week. I promise you that. Anytime, just like last week, I had a Marine and we started talking about military stuff, but I wanted to keep the discussion on uh, some other subjects. So I did end up doing a chat about the military like 2 days later. Um, to engage him. I always keep my promises. We can do that another day. So anyway, guys, like I said, we can do a discussion on pro black stuff later this week, because I do plan on discussing something serious tomorrow, actually. But today, I just want to keep it lighthearted. And like I said, I just want to gauge what who people think their favorite rapper is. I think Eric said his was KRS-One. I said Biggie. Um, and I also said that Biggie I think is the best um, alive or dead so far. But we can have the debate of who the current best rapper alive is right now. Like some people are saying Kendrick, and people are saying lyrically, no one wants to really mess with him right now. Like even Eminem said he wouldn't want to mess with him, but you know, I don't know. All right, Hellrell. I think it's still a few people here in the chat. It's I see three, but yeah, alive. I don't know if I'm gonna say Kendrick. I mean, a lot of people say they don't want to mess with him, but there's more. There's a lot of battle tested rappers out there that aren't just putting out stuff. Like Eminem is still one of the, and I know a lot of people are gonna be mad because he's white, but Eminem is still one of the dopest rappers and MCs who's still alive today. Like he, a lot of people don't want to mess with him, and he's hurt a lot of people's careers. It's just that he's at a point now he doesn't have to prove himself anymore. He's been doing this since 1998. Also, um, here's a rapper that you guys wouldn't think of that might be that you wouldn't think that is that ill. Well, you would if you know him from like back in the 80s, but LL Cool J is not to be trifled with either lyrically. Like people don't know. LL ended some careers. Y'all remember Cannabis? If you don't remember Cannabis, that's because of LL Cool J. And he's just one person. Um, LL Cool J has ended some careers. He, like I said, people may think of him just being a guy on what NCIS now and doing like movies and TV shows. Nah, LL is that dude for real. Of course, Jay-Z, Nas, like some of these guys, I think their level, they're so up here now that most people don't even think of them when it comes to like rap beefs because it's like no one in their right mind would even try to come at them anymore unless they just trying to get unless they just trying to get their name out there. They might mention these guys, but really no one's going to come at Eminem, Jay-Z, or Nas nowadays. Like they're battle tested. Like no one's going to screw with them. And like Eric mentioned, Busta Rhymes. You, you wouldn't want to mess with Busta either. Busta can rap at you in both like English or patois. um, the same with Biggie. Biggie, like I said, they're both Jamaican. He can hit you with both the English or the patois. And like I said, I think lyrically, a lot of the best MCs have come from the Caribbean because that was the roots of hip hop. And I remember finding out that Biggie every summer used to go to Jamaica to see his family over there, and he would listen to music and kind of soak it in and learn, you know, learn the culture. And he brought that back with him, and it showed up lyrically in his style of rap. Uh, Gospel rap. I mean, to each his own. I don't listen to gospel rap, but I'm not gonna knock someone for listening to it. The dude from Kid and Play does gospel rap now, or was doing it, because I think he had like maybe a crisis, some mental health crisis early on in his life, and he started doing gospel rap afterwards. Just so that there's some gospel rappers out there. I'm just not familiar with it. Kanye has done some gospel rap. You take that for for what you will, though. um, you said K9, Bizzle, and Russian KD are the guys I listen to. I'm not even familiar with them. Like I said, a lot of the stuff that came out now, I have no clue. Like all the drill rap, I don't know the drill rappers other than that one dude from Brooklyn, the guy who was briefly in prison. What's his name? Shmoney. I can't remember his name, but whatever that drill rapper is from Brooklyn, he's like the only drill rapper I know. Or the guy who died in LA, I literally didn't know anything about him until he died. And that he was dating that model chick and actress. Like I didn't know anything about him until he died because one of the guys at my job kept talking about how sad he was that the guy died. And I never, it was like, oh, I'm the first I've heard of him. Once I actually listened to him, I'm like, oh, he's good, but it's not really like music I would rock to. Um, LL's ODJ is your church mother's son. Wow. Dwayne Mufia Simon. Oh, okay. Hell says, I'll say Kendrick won only because of lyrical ability, metaphors, and delivery. And lastly, he also showed artistic ability. Well, I think that's enough. Like, um, the, Drake lost on so many levels. Like, one, like, I never liked him really anyway because he always seemed disingenuous. Like, I'm not gonna knock him for like being Jewish or Canadian or from the suburbs or having a career in acting before he became a rapper, but you shouldn't, instead of trying to act like that stuff wasn't there as part of your upbringing, you should have just been upfront about it because we already know about it. It's just like that what's that white rapper who got his TV show saying my name is Dave. I can't remember his name, but he's from the suburbs of Philly, probably um uh, like Westchester or whatever. But like he doesn't pretend he's like from the hood and all the sort of stuff like Drake does. He's disingenuous. Then he tried to knock um, Kendrick, saying he's not really affiliated. That dude is from Compton. Trust me, he's affiliated. Like he's Pyru. It's the fact that he doesn't talk about it is because he's a real. It's because he's a real G. The dudes who are like really in that life don't have to glorify it in their music for credibility because the people who know already know his his street cred. He doesn't have to talk about it like like um like Drake. Like Drake is the one who's fugazi. Like, but yeah, it was definitely well known that Kendrick was in that life. That the dude was Pyru. Like to claim that he was like making that up was just stupid. And then like I said, lyrically, he can't rock with Kendrick. Kendrick doesn't use ghostwriters, and that was admitted even by Eminem, because Eminem, when they had him do that track for, I forgot what it was. I think it was a soundtrack or something. He left Kendrick in the studio by him, in a booth studio booth by himself, to lay down lay down his bars, because he wanted to see if he could actually spit without using a ghostwriter, because he didn't think he was that nice. And then when he came in and laid down his track, he was like, "Oh no, he's certified. Like this dude is actually that good." That's why Eminem said, I wouldn't want to beef with him either. When Eminem says I would have beef with him, you know that the guy is certified. So Drake had already lost from the beginning, as far as I'm concerned. Like he's disingenuous. He uses ghostwriters. He's talking about the man's background when he doesn't like he doesn't have anything to hide, unlike Drake. Um, and again, when I was talking about the 5 categories of what makes the greatest rapper, Drake can do the mass appeal with the radio friendly stuff, but he doesn't have the street shit. And when he tries to do street shit, it just comes off as completely fake. So yeah, how else is Nas and Biggie my top two due to storytelling? Exactly, like Nas had that storytelling ability too. Like I said, and anyone who has that ability, going back to Slick Rick and some of those other guys, that's gonna put you in the top right there. I think a lot of people don't give that is due worth. Um, but yeah, Decade YT says, how did you develop your discipline? What discipline? Talking about martial arts or something else? So I don't know if I'm sorry, I don't know if you were referring to like my martial arts background or something else maybe. Uh, Kobe Curtis says Kendrick is a family man. Drake brought his kids around adult people. Oh, he's Lil Dicky. Yeah, that's his name. I stopped watching the show when he did that episode with that DJ and they were making out with each other, but saying that they weren't gay. I'm like, what? I couldn't watch it after that episode. Matter of fact, I couldn't even finish that episode once they started kissing on each other, but saying they were just exploring, but that they weren't gay. I'm like, dude, if you're doing that just to get the LGBTQ crowd, that's that's too far for me. And I stopped watching the show and stopped listening to him. No, not Vanilla Ice, Eric. Lil Dicky, like Kobe Curtis was saying. Yeah, and the show is called My Name Is Dave. It's on Hulu, or was I think it ended a few years ago, but yeah. You said Vanilla Ice whole person was fake, but you know what? I'm not gonna lie. All everyone when Vanilla Ice first came out was jamming to him. When Ice Baby came out, people was rocking with him. Yeah, his persona was fake, but and but the fact that his persona was fake and called out shows the difference in what hip hop was in 1990 compared to what it is today. There's a where Vanilla Ice got called out for being for being fake. Now it's like a million rappers to do that. Like Drake. Drake is fake. Drake wouldn't have made it in the 80s or even like early 90s because back then that whole crossover thing was considered taboo within hip hop. That's why MC Hammer caught so much flack. And MC Hammer caught flack from rappers today who now do a bunch of goofy stuff, but back then were all about crossing over is selling out. Um, Kobe Chris said Drake stole and stole, but Eminem won't diss Drake because he did something for Haley. I wasn't aware of that. He says it's about actions. We stand proud as heterosexuals. Yeah, that's what I said. I couldn't watch My Name Is Dave when he had that. Like the show was kind of funny up until then, but it looked like he was only doing that. Well, I don't know. He could be actually bi or whatever, but it looked like he was doing that just to try to capture the rainbow mob because this is like what 2016 or whatever 2017, and it started becoming popular to ride the rainbow. I don't rock that way. I don't, but if anyone is that way, that's cool with me. I don't rock that way. Never will. And yeah, Ninja Rap, I'm not, that's the best part of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too. I saw both of those in the theaters, and I'm not gonna lie, that was the best part of the movie because to be honest, TMNT two was sucked. That movie sucked, but that scene was good. Like the first movie is a classic. I actually bought the DVD. If you didn't see it on my shelf yesterday when I was showing all my Batman and other vintage collectibles, and I had a stack of DVDs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was up there, but part two with the ninja rap. You ever seen that ninja get down? But but yeah, but yeah. Well, we can safely say the Vanilla Ice is not in the top 10 nor top 20, not nor top 50. And I'm not gonna even go into the whole billboards. Well, we can go into if you guys want the billboards top 50 hip hop because whoever did made up that list was smoking crack. Like they put Drake up in the top 10 and put Jadakiss all the way at 40 something. So I knew whoever did that list was had some fentanyl laced crack that they were smoking to put Jadakiss all the way in the bottom 40 and Drake already at the top 10 and Nicki Minaj. I'm like, what the fuck? And then they left out some rap, and then what made it worse is they left out some rappers because they weren't born in the U.S. But then they included Drake, who was also born in Canada. I'm like, nah, you can't have it both ways. You can't exclude my man. Um, what's what's the guy that used to beatbox? Dougie Fresh. They said they kept him off the list because he was born in Barbados. He is one of the pioneers of hip hop, and you kept him off the list because he was born in Barbados. All his music was made in the U.S., but you put Drake at like number 6 or number 8, something like that, and he was born in Canada. Last time I checked, Canada wasn't part of the United States. So whoever did that Billboard Top 50 rap list last year, they were smoking that good shit. Yeah, they kept Dougie Fresh off the list and Slick Rick because Slick Rick was born in Britain. But again, all of Slick Rick's music was made here in the United States. So how is he not on the list when he's like considered one of the gods of hip hop because he was born in Britain? Canada is part of the, but Canada's part of the British Commonwealth and not and a separate country from the United States. But Drake counts. That makes no sense. And also, I'm I'm not certain, but I'm pretty sure Nick, because they, like I said, they included Nicki Minaj. I'm almost sure she was born in Trinidad, because that's why she and Foxy are really close, because they're both Trinidadian with Asian ancestry. Um, but yeah, they kept her off the list, and so the Billboard list made no sense whatsoever. Like I said, I don't know how you have Jada Kiss at like number 46 or something like that, and Drake was like at number 8 or number 6. How? Like, what's up, EV? Yeah, I can't take anything Billboard publishes serious. I just thought like it's Billboard, like they would do their due diligence, but obviously not. Like they and like then they put someone like now I disagree. They put Dr. Dre because Dr. Dre himself wouldn't I don't think would have considered himself one of the top 50 rappers. Like he doesn't write his own lyrics. Like some of the songs on Chronic, was it Chronic 2001, that was some of that stuff was ghost written by Jay-Z and other folks. And he didn't hide that fact because he's a DJ and producer. He's not a rapper, he's not an MC. So I don't know why he was on the list either. They did do right by having Easy E on the list though. But or I think they had Easy on the list. But that Billboard listing was a joke. Dallas and 6. I still don't get that. You said that last time, but you didn't explain what that meant. Because like I said, if it's a sports reference, I'm not gonna get it because I'm not a sports fan like that. So I don't know if you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys or unless you were talking about the producer Dallas. What's the name? The guy's name? Austin Dallas or whatever his name is. So every time you say that, I don't get it when you say Dallas and 6. All right, anytime someone comes with that gay stuff, you automatically getting timed out. I don't have time for that. No one's riding the rainbow over here. Boris Markovic says that's what he's talking about the NBA. Who's the NBA team for Dallas? Oh, Mavericks. Right. No, I do know the Mavericks. I'm sorry, because isn't that where Carl? I only know the old school. Sorry, I only know the NBA stars from my era when I was a teenager, and yeah, or early 20s, like Carl Malone. Then he played for the Mavericks back in the day. Like I don't know most of the current NBA stars. Oh, the Jazz. Wait, who? So, um, but during all right. So during the '90s, though, who was like the famous guy for the Mavericks? You said Carmelo played for the Jazz. Um, damn. And what did I say? There was Diddy. I'm sorry. Like, if I say anything that was pause worthy, let me know. I don't remember saying anything uh, Diddy worthy. I actually had to uh, time someone out because they were making some gay jokes. Junior Delgado. Yeah, I don't know anything about sports. If you know anything about this channel, Grasshopper Plus, I am a nerd and I'm a proud nerd because that's something I had to hide when I was a kid because of people who thought being dumb was cool, especially in black schools. Like American schools in general glorify idiocracy, but idiocracy is highly glorified in predominantly black schools. So I had to hide that I liked learning. So I wasn't into sports. I was into except for martial arts and boxing. Those are the sports that I'm into. I don't care about throwing the ball, passing the ball, stuff like that. Except for like my favorite players when I was a kid, like Jordan, because I grew up in Chicago. So it was like it was like the Bulls was like a religion. Drake Numb Drums says sports equals mindless entertainment for the masses. Yeah, pretty much. Like at the end of the day, I'm not getting a check whether they win or not. Like I don't know if you guys ever saw a Bronx Tale, but the guy had it just right. He was like, he was like when he said so. He was like, so yeah, when the New York Yankees win, he said, do you get a check? Do they win? He said, if your father gets, he said, where your father work? And he's like, yeah, he's a bus driver. He said, so yeah, he said, your father gets laid off of work. He said, you think Mickey Mantle gonna take care of your father when he loses his job? He gonna make sure you got food on the table? He said, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Sorry, I love mob movies. But yeah, the guy on the Bronx Tale was just right. Like at the end of the day, I don't care about sports games because I'm not getting paid for it. If they win a championship, I don't win anything unless I'm gambling, and I'm not stupid enough to gamble. So the only sports teams I care about is my alma mater, the Turks, because when they do win championships, it makes my degree more valuable. So I do care about them. So getting back to it, Kyrie, PJ Washington, Luca, they now mad stars. So I know Kyrie, PJ Washington. Is that the simp that got the dumb IG thought pregnant? That's PJ Washington that got the little IG hoe pregnant, right? Because I know that name. That sounds like the dude that got the little IG quote model unquote. Derek Harper and Jason Kidd play for the Mavs. Yep, definitely know Jason Kidd. Derek Harper, don't remember him, but yeah, I remember Jason Kidd definitely. Orlando Blackman in the 80s and 90s for the Mavs. I'm not familiar with him. 9 days say sports is cool, but not life like some people make it. Yeah, like some people like I'll go to sports bars, but I don't really check out like what's going on. Like I'm pretty much there just for the food and the atmosphere, right? But sometimes if there's like an MMA match like UFC or one championship, I really don't care about UFC as much. But one if they show like a one championship, they showing Thai boxing, kickboxing, if they got a good boxing game on, I'm watching those. Like I like pugilistic sports, like combat sports, but I'm not into ball sports. No diddy. Boris says you cool as F, man. Got a subscriber from me. I appreciate it, Boris. Thank you. Bottle Lover says what cologne you use. I need recommendations. Uh, Again, I'm a true nerd, so you guys about to see something. Mind you, I didn't buy this. My niece and nephew bought this for me for my birthday, but it actually smells good. Can you, Star Wars, yeah. Mandalorian cologne. You'd think this would smell like some ass. This is good. Like I usually use this for the gym. Actually, like this is like the cologne I use when I hit the gym. And yes, you should use a cologne when you hit the gym because anyone who hits the gym nowadays know that the gym after 5 p.m. is like a nightclub. Like you'll see more cheeks probably in the gym than in the club nowadays. Like I honestly I feel sorry for you younger guys who didn't get to go to the clubs during like the 90s and 2000s. That's when they was live. And I know I'm going on a tangent. I'm sorry, but I'm telling you, the clubs like in L.A., New York, D.C., like Chicago, I'm guessing as well, lit, completely lit. Like D.C., there was one club we went to called D.C. Live. It used to be so packed on the weekend that you had to dance with a girl. Like they were so packed, like it was people were packed in there like sardines. Like I'm pretty sure it was I'm pretty sure it was a fire hazard because people were like literally packed in there like sardines. So if it was just a girl in front of you, you just started dancing. Like she was just dancing. She looked back, just start twerking it on you. Like they didn't call it twerking it back then, but yo. And plus, And then girls used to always do this thing. I know I'm going on a tangent. Like, um, when you would go to a club and you want to approach a girl, because now I know in clubs, from what I've told, you can't approach girls like unless it's like a bottle girl or something like that. Like people don't really dance in clubs anymore. But back then, you were expected to dance. Like the dudes who weren't dancing used to be all up on the wall, just sitting there watching everyone else get it in. But nah, we was dancing. I would go right to the center of the floor to make sure I'm where the action is. And like girls, like the first thing they would do when you try to dance with them, they usually give you that look back to make sure you look good. And if they thought you were attractive, I never. Well, I'm not saying I look good or anything, but I never had anyone walk away from me when they did the look back. So I feel sorry if you guys didn't go to the club back then. But nowadays, I would say the best, like, hit the gym. Like, it's both good for staying fit and for meeting women, because the most attractive women are going to be in the gym because like they're staying fit. Where you get these little fat Lizzos up in the club nowadays, especially in Baltimore. So if you want attractive women, hit the gym and take a a cologne, one that doesn't have a strong. I'm not trying to be all Kevin Samuels here, but he had a point. Like he had a different scent for like any occasion. Like he had his work spray, his like daily going somewhere spray, like whether it being inside or outside. And I think he talked about one for like going to the gym and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my gym body spray. Sorry for that long rant, guys. Speaking of boxing, did you watch the Tyson Usyk fight? No, no. I actually planned on seeing it, but it's like they kind of messed it up because they were showing all the highlights. I think like on YouTube or whatever, but I didn't see where the was it on pay per view or I don't know what it was. It on pay per view? Was it on ESPN? Was it on Showtime? I wasn't. I didn't even hear the fight until after it happened. So now I'm trying to look for where I can watch the fight in its entirety. And I purposely avoided seeing the highlights. All I know is that they were saying like Tyson came in strong and got rocked at the end. I'm like, damn, they just gave away the whole thing, and I didn't even know the fight was happening. I probably should have asked my cousin because he's way more into boxing than I am, and his little brother is actually a professional boxer. Um, but yeah, I still want to watch that fight. Blake Nundrum says people are willing to get into fights and die over sports teams that don't give a shit about their fans. Right, like it's off the chains. I heard it's worse in the UK actually. You guys from if I have any British guys in the chat, y'all can let me know. But I hear they go hard over European football over there. And when I say European football, I'm referring to soccer here. What we refer to soccer here. But I hear they go pretty hard in the paint over their games over there. And I think in Brazil, I think people have actually died at in the arenas um, over these games. Like people have fought and actually died in these arenas, like in places like Brazil and places like that. I'm not fighting someone over a game. Like I'm sorry if you disagree with me, you got it, bro. I'm not fighting over my favorite team when I'm not getting paid for it. Blake Nundrum says big brains are better in sports any day. Well, the funniest thing is really intelligent people do tend to also be somewhat athletic. Like I won't say they're like jocks or anything like that, but people who are like tend to be like on the gifted level. Many of them tend to be physically fit too. So I think there's a balance that you strike with that. So I do like MMA too, but that's a solo sport, which is probably why I like them. Like all the sports that I'm into or that I've practiced have all been solo sports. Like I've done track and field in high school. I remember a coach tried to get me to do wrestling. which I didn't do, but I wish I did. But I was definitely interested in wrestling. I was, of course, doing I was doing martial arts. So I've always been into like solo sports. I haven't really been into like team sports. Maybe that's just a personality quirk. Marion, Liviu, Mandash is who you got. Jake Paul, or Mike. Honestly, so I said this before. I think it's going to be a draw. I think because of each of both, because of their reputations that they both have. Jake Paul being a YouTube boxer who basically makes his bones by showing that he's a real fighter, but fighting a former heavyweight champion who doesn't want to tarnish his image either. I think it's going to end in a draw. That's what I think. I think all this marketing around they're going to knock each other out, and that this isn't going to be an exhibition fight. I don't believe it. Like I said, Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather said the same thing like 2 years ago, and that was like one of the softest tickle fights I ever seen. And then Floyd Mayweather got on Instagram the day after and said, "This is the easiest cash I ever made." Like he's like, "This is the easiest millions I ever made," and all you guys thought we were gonna like duke it out. He said, "Ha ha, we the joke is on you." So I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying into the hype, like because every Paul fight, whether it's Jake Paul or his brother Logan Paul, these fights have all just seemed, I'm not gonna say fake, but they're not they're not going to the wall in these fights. Like I don't think anyone's going to get knocked down in these fights. And I think because of the reputation of Paul right now, now that he's making his bones as a legitimate boxer, even though he's a YouTube influencer, and Mike Tyson being a former heavyweight champion, someone who's held in a lot of respect actually by Jake Paul. And Mike Tyson has spoken well of Jake Paul in the past as well, saying that he's keeping professional boxing alive. I think it's going to end in a draw. Honestly, I'd be quite surprised if there's a declared winner between the two of them. And if it was, it would probably be Mike Tyson. But more than likely, I think it's going to end in a draw. That's my prediction. It's going to be a draw. Jason McPherson says this ninja 50 something years old, looking like he 20 ninjas 20 20 years old. Ninjas no age. Not 50 yet, but I work out every day. That's well the I mean, here's the secret to why I look young. One is simply genetics. Like, you know, I hate when people lie and be like, "Oh, well, I do this and I do that." No, it's genetics. Most people who look young, it's probably a combination of genetics and other things. But yeah, it's genetics. Probably, I'm not going to deny that. But also, I don't drink or smoke. The last time I drank something was back in college, and that's been like 20 years ago was the last time I drank, and that was after I finished college, and that was just like one shot that I had 20 years ago, and before then I didn't have alcohol 3 years prior to that. So the last time I actually drank anything was 20 years ago, and like I said, that was like a shot of scotch that I chased with a cup of Coca-Cola. That was last time I drank. I don't smoke. Um, like I said, I exercise every day. Currently, I run at least 10 kilometers every day, and then I do my martial arts. Then I sometimes do a second run as well. And when I have the time, I also go to the gym. So I stay fit. I don't drink, don't smoke. That's pretty much it. And people with melanin, we stay, hey, black don't crack. And I have Asian friends have a saying too. They said Asian don't raisin. So makes a perfect combination for Blasian relationships. Blake Nundrum says Mike all day if it wasn't fixed. I would give Mike the edge just out of experience, but people have also said that Jake Paul is actually a pretty powerful puncher, and he's like what 30 years younger than Mike Tyson. So he does have youth, and he has youth and vigor on his side. And let's be serious, like Mike hasn't really been training after his professional career. Like the one time he started training again, it was when he fought um my man who used to also be one of my favorite rappers, uh damn, what's his name? But they both looked out of shape when they did that fight 6 years ago. Like they both look like uncles at the barbecue getting into a fight. But Mike has gotten into better shape since then. But like he smokes weed every day and he does shrooms, so it's like he's not he's not the Mike that we're thinking about from back in the '90s. So Jake would give him that work. Like if they wanted to go all out, I couldn't say honestly who would win because I said Mike has the experience and he has the better boxing style. Like I think the peekaboo boxing style is one of the best styles if you have that aggressiveness in you. If you can be aggressive like Mike, the peekaboo style is like almost undefeatable. And like I said, he has the experience. Like he won the Olympic gold medal before he even turned 18. So he has so much. His I think his fight IQ is so much higher than Jake Paul. On the other hand, Jake Paul has youth on his side and strength and vigor, which Mike may, well, not strength so much, but vigor that Mike may lack. So if they actually went at it like in a real, like, no holds barred boxing match, I couldn't say who will win. But like I said, I don't think this would be a no holds barred fight. I think it's going to be kind of watered down because I think Paul is known for his non-disclosure agreements with his fighters, but he does pay them well. So, Bottle Love says I use Nautica Voyage or Jimmy Choo Ice when I go to the gym. That's what's up. I also use the Muslim oils too. I'm not I'm not Muslim, just in case someone starts asking, but I buy the Muslim oils because they sell them everywhere in Baltimore. You can't go anywhere without someone selling the little Muslim oil, especially in the city. Like they'll have like the whole clip across their shoulder, looking like Rambo. Like you remember Rambo was carrying all the little 50 cal across his chest. Like people walk around in Baltimore with the little shoulder strap with nothing but the Muslim oils, and it's a cheaper way of getting all your favorite cologne, especially if you don't have a favorite scent but you want to sample like maybe 10, 20 different type of scents. You can buy those from them guys pushing all the Muslim oils and down in the hood, and they sell them in the malls too. Like you can go to the mall and find all the Muslim scented oils. I'll use those. Like when I want like a stronger scent, I use the Muslim scented oils. But if I want something like for the gym, I use something lighter, like that Mandalorian cologne, or I might use like another sports body spray when I hit the gym. Joy Boy and Simon said, "What's the definition of a contrarian?" So I've talked about this before. So a contrarian, and first of all, I want to say I'm not a contrarian. I call My channel is called Just A Contrarian because it's a joke. But a contrarian is basically someone who takes the opposite of whatever the majority viewpoint is. So if say most people say that Drake is the winner of the rap beef, and then but there'll always be a few people say, well, actually I think that Drake was the winner. They're being a contrarian because they're going opposite to the opposing viewpoint just to sound like they're the smartest person in the room. That's essentially what a contrarian is. I'm not a contrarian, but what happens is if you're like someone who's naturally skeptical or you do critical thinking, then anytime you like challenge something that someone else believes, they'll just call you a contrarian to kind of dismiss your views, even if it's more well thought out than theirs. But that's why I say my YouTube name is Just A Contrarian, because that's how people will dismiss me if I disagree with them. They're like, "Oh, you're just a contrarian," and that's literally where my YouTube name came from. Mel says house music on my own. Are you from Baltimore, Mel? By the way, it's getting late again. Let me see if Mrs. Contrarian hit me up. Nope. No. Yeah, she is busy. But I do have something coming again, guys, from Mrs. Contrarian this week to celebrate me hitting over 1,000 subs. Because, like I said, I wasn't going to pimp her out to get because that could have been easily a way for me to get thousands of subs, was just to show my wife on video, like some of these YouTubers do overseas, whom I'm not going to name because I actually like watching some of their content. But some of these dudes overseas, like the passport bros, because I do consider myself a passport bro. Uh, I married overseas, lived overseas, such and such. But some of these got the YouTubers overseas have been using their girlfriends or pay for play girlfriends, I don't know which, to to basically get eyeballs to their channel. And it seems kind of lowbrow to me to do that. But then when I found out the backgrounds of their girlfriends, now I'm not surprised. And I'm talking about the Thailand passport bros in particular. So if you know which channels I'm talking about, I don't need to say their names, but one guy, his girlfriend is a former porn star. Like I literally seen her in a porn. uh, it's a porn, and yes, I've watched porn. That's we're all adults here. But yeah, he had there's this one porn where the guy brings in these Asian women to pretend to be maids and clean up his condo, and then he smashes them. And it's either like in Thailand or the Philippines. And it was in Thailand, and it was the girl, and I'm like, wait, that's so and so's girlfriend. And then I, just to make sure I wasn't tripping, I went into the comments, and people was like, yo, that's so and so's girlfriend from that YouTube channel. So I was like, damn. I was like, no wonder he has no shame in showing his girl's body off like that on his channel. Then another one of the guys, he shows this girl off all the time, and he has these really clickbait titles for his videos. Again, I'm not going to say his name because he actually seems like a pretty cool brother. But these Thailand passport bros are, yeah, they're messy. His girl is obviously a former bar girl. Like she's tatted all the way down, on all over her body. And then the other guy is the one who's my favorite, and he and his girl look like they actually have a legit relationship. But I know, but he at least he actually told people himself. He didn't hide it or have other people discover it outside of the videos. He even said his girl was a former massage girl, which in itself isn't bad. But she was a massage girl in Pattaya, and I'm sorry, Pattaya is the number one international red light district in the world. If someone's getting a massage in Pattaya, it's not a clean massage. I'm sorry. They can say that they don't do that, but everyone is pay for play in Pattaya. Like most people say, it's only pay for play on Walking Street in Pattaya. No, basically every woman you meet in Pattaya is pay for play. I've been to Pattaya, but to my credit, I did not go looking for booty while I was there. I actually went to go train in Muay Thai when I was there at Venom Training Camp, which is an awesome training camp. I hope to go back there again and maybe do like 3 months on a student visa. Because they do have student visas just for foreigners coming there to train in Muay Thai over there. So you can go train for 3 months, and you can even do a few fights over there while when you train. Probably some smokers. Smokers are basically what they consider amateur Muay Thai fights over there. They call them smokers. So you'd be guaranteed to train and to get in a few fights. So anyway, back to the subject, guys. Tai Crew says, who do you think would win in a fist fight between Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama? I think Michael Obama would win. That's who I think would win. But then I don't know because Oprah did beat up Harpo, right? She says she loves her some Harpo, but if Harpo hits her, she kills him dead before she let Harpo put a hand on her again. Let me stop. Nah, I'm guessing Michael Obama would win. I'm sorry, Michelle, Michael, but yeah, that's who I think will win because she's pretty fit. Oprah is not. Oprah has only got thin down because she uses Ozempic or whatever they call that fat loss medication that all the celebrities are taking right now, and then tried to blame men for her having to take I don't even want to get into Oprah, but yeah, I don't like either one of them, obviously. But yeah, I think Michael Obama will win. Marion says Baltimore got them Weight Watchers contenders. Talking about all the Walking Dead zombies walking downtown. Ella says, when did Tyson fight? It hasn't happened yet. No, not. I'm not talking about the Jake Paul. Someone was asking me earlier who would I think will win, but between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, I said I think it's honestly going to be a draw because I don't think it's going to be a knockdown, drag out fight. I think it's going to be more of an exhibition fight. I was saying he fought. Who did he fight? It was like 6 years ago, and it was on Fox. They put it on Fox TV so that everyone can see it. I'll look it up right now, but the guy who used to say you must have forgot that guy because he went from welterweight to middleweight to super middleweight to light heavyweight to heavyweight, and that's when he ended his career because I think he went up too high with heavyweight because with heavyweight there's no upper limit to heavyweight like it used to be. They used to be heavyweight and then it used to be super heavyweight, and they got rid of the super heavyweight division. So he was fighting someone that was like twice his size and got knocked out, and then I think that was right when he retired. But I can't remember the guy's name. But he used to always have that catchphrase, "You must have forgot." Um, who was the guy? I can't remember. I know someone in the chat remembers the the other guy he fought like 6 years ago. I just can't. I just can't remember the name. Ty Cruz says, "Okay, what about a fight between Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder? I think Stevie Wonder can see, but also if they can't, and I had to fight another man in pitch black and he had dreads, I would win." I'm guessing you mean both at the height, if they were both matched for at the same age, right? Um, if you're talking about they were matched around roughly the same age, and before either of them had like health issues, I don't know. I would say Ray Charles just because like in those he grew up in those old southern like cotton fields or whatever. Like I think he had a rougher childhood. I think he he may have won, but I can't say a blind fight. That would be interesting. Ty Cruz says, I think about Oprah and Michelle Obama fighting. It would be Oprah. She'd be like, everyone, check under the chairs. You get a car, get a switchblade, you get a rocket launcher. Well, we're talking about a one on one. Like, obviously, if people can jump in, that changes all the all the characteristics of the outcome of the fight. One on one, I think Michelle. She's younger, she's more fit, and she's probably a man. Libertadores says, I can't say that in I don't know what that means since it's in Spanish. I'm sorry. Crack TV says you might be right. I still don't know this David Goggins thing that I keep getting. Chad Scazzeri says, "Don't ever disrespect me looking like David Goggins gave up." Someone explained to me a few days ago who David Goggins was, but I forgot. Like, it's just not a name I think about. So the jokes fly over me sometimes, guys. If it's an insult or something, or saying that I look like someone, if flew over my head, I'll look it up right now. American. Oh yeah, yeah, now I remember the former the former Navy SEAL guy. And how does it look like I gave up? I'm pretty fit. He's actually older than me. He's 49 years old. I didn't give up. I work out every day. He has it on me though, because he runs apparent according to his Wikipedia, like he does like ultra marathons. Plus, he was a Navy SEAL. I was not in special forces when I was in the military. I was just conventional army. I never tried to get into any special mission unit, although I could have been a tier 3 special mission with, if I had went airborne like I was asked to back in my AIT school, my advanced initial training. I was asked if I wanted to go to jump school, so I wish I did. And like the only reason I didn't do it wasn't because I was scared. It was because I wanted to come home sooner to get to my permanent duty station. I didn't want to extend my training another 3 weeks or 4 weeks, however long jump school is. Libertadora says, okay, pool party is Mickey Muse. I don't get it. Chad said Mike's gonna mess that kid up. I don't think he is. Like I said, everyone thinks he is because they're marketing it. The way they're marketing the fight right now is like they're like going to mess each other up, and it's only to get people invested in the fight because honestly, they don't have any dislike of each other. Mike has talked glowingly of Jake Paul in the past, saying that people don't like his YouTube fights, but he's keeping for professional boxing alive because boxing has lost a lot of interest because most people rather watch MMA nowadays. So he said he likes the fact that Jake Paul has kept people's eyes still to boxing, and Jake Paul in the past has said that Mike is one of the goats. Like they've both spoke respectively of each other in the past. So now they gotta make people believe that they really want to beat each other up when they really don't. Like it's a fight so that Mike can get paid and Jake Paul can boost his credibility and also get paid. I don't think it's going to be a knockout fight. Like I think, like by all means, people should enjoy the fight because I'm going to watch it because it's going to be on Netflix. And I think if this goes well, I think Netflix is going to start doing more fights, which would be great because most people have a Netflix account, they can watch it without having to pay-per-view or go to a sports bar or whatever, right? But I think people are gonna be sorely disappointed if they expect to see like a knockout fight. I just don't think it's gonna go that distance like that. If it does, it will be great. But I'm not expecting it, and I don't think anyone should expect the Paul versus Tyson fight to to take it to the wall. Oh yeah, I know Mike has been sober lately. Raven. What I was saying was that like he's been chills for the last 25 or so years. Like he's done acting. He has his own marijuana company. He does psychedelics. So, and like I said, the last fight he did against um that other guy 6 years ago, like he was looking pretty out of shape, and he even admitted it. He said he didn't really train hard for that fight, but he said this time around with the Jake Paul fight, he was training harder, and you can see it. Like he looks more defined, like he did in his younger days. So you can tell he is actually getting more shape than he did for that previous fight he did on Fox 6 years ago. And I still can't remember the name of the dude who was in that fight. favorite workout split? You asking me, Omar? So typically in the morning or whenever, it may not always be in the morning, but typically early in the morning I run my 10K, followed by like an hour of shadow boxing, and then I stretch. Um, but if I'm not going to do anything else that day, I also do some calisthenics and stretch. If I if I but if I split it between, ideally I like to do two workouts a day. So if I split it into two workouts, then later that afternoon or later that evening, then I do a shorter quick run, like either a 2 mile run or I do a weighted vest run. Um, and then I'll do like calisthenics and stretch again, or I might hit the gym and do the treadmill and do some weights. That's pretty much my routine. And then some days when I get the chance to, I'll spar with someone. So that's pretty much it. And then sometimes I'll do my Filipino stick and footwork routine where I'll work with the my sticks with the Kali sticks. I'll do single stick, double stick, stick and knife. Um, so that's pretty much it. Texas Carnage A17 said, "Did you vote for Biden?" Guys, we're getting away from hip hop. We got far away from talking about rap. Um, I did last time. I won't be again. I feel kind of dumb for doing it last time, so I won't be making that mistake again. Big Gotti Mustache says, "My wife is cheating on me. I'm outside waiting for her to finish." Dude, um, I don't know what to say on that one. Ryan Team 14 said, "How's it going, my guy? What's up, my man?" YouTube Gang says, "You watch porn?" Yes, most men have watched porn. Here's the scary thing: more young people have watched porn than adults have nowadays because of the easy access through the internet and through their smartphones. If I wanted to play the old guy back in my day, but yeah, I'll do the old man routine. Back in my day, I would have been happy to sneak and see my father's Playboy magazines, or my uncle's um, magazines. He used to have the more sluttier stuff. And then when the internet first came out, we weren't watching porn videos on that because it would take like damn near half an hour just to download images on a dial-up internet. So kids have ready, easy access to the most vile things that people have ever put on video. So to, that I've watched porn. So what? We all did in college. Like every every guy I knew in college was watching porn, whether they were religious or not. Like we all watched porn. So and I was even invited to. Um, yeah, I've never talked about this, so no, I think I did mention this on video once, but if not, you guys are hearing it today. I was actually invited to join a porn company, Naughty. I think it's called Naughty America, um, because there was something in. I forgot it was in my magazine or it was in something when I was looking up jobs, and I was like, "What for real?" So they were looking for talent, and they didn't ask to see your junk or anything like that. They just said send a regular picture. And they said, do not send us a picture of your junk. Just send us a regular picture. Let us know if you're interested. And I was like, let me do this. Let me see if they will actually hit me up. And I actually got a email from the head of the company for Naughty America saying they wanted to fly me out to LA and do a test shoot. And I was like, nah, I can't do that. Sorry guys for my live just had a little glitch, and so I hope everyone's still there. But if you just heard, I was just talking about I was once invited by Naughty America to do a test shoot for a for possible start of a porn career. I couldn't do it. I don't think I would be able to perform in the front of a camera with dudes in front of me. Like if all the camera people were women, yeah, I could, but they're not gonna be women, so I couldn't do it. And even I think even the dudes who do the POV scenes, the point of view scenes, like when it's from their own a certain point of view because they have the camera like held in their hand while they're doing it. I think even still the so-called point of view scenes, there's still other people around, doing doing the lighting, the scenery, and everything else. I couldn't do it, so I never responded to the email. So Texas Carnage 817 says Dallas in 6. So I know now I'm talking about the Mavericks. This time I'm talking about the Dallas Stars. Ryan Team says Jesus love you all. He is the king. Michael Robinson, yes, I know Michael Robinson. Definitely know the name. Magnanimous One says pass the Doritos, please. Shoot, pass me some Doritos. I want some Doritos. I didn't even know they've been around since the 60s. I did not know they were around that long. I have this bias that everything came out of the 80s. But yeah, pass me some Doritos. Unless that's a term for something else. Every bad guy in the Western. Donald McPherson says your teams are applying pressure. I can't lie. Big ups to Mr. Allen and the Jamaican connection. He told me a few more crawled through that hole in the house in Jacumba within the house of Ebony. I'm lost. You say guys like there's a lot of people here, but there's only me and someone else. I don't know. I can't see like it reconnected, so I can't see how many people are currently in the chat, Timothy. When it reconnected, I lost the number, but it was several people here. It was um like 11 people. So they might be reconnecting after I had the little glitch. But I need to go anyway because it's seriously late. And my point was just to talk about hip hop, chew the breeze, and basically thank everyone for helping me push over to 1,000 subs. Yeah, 2 days ago, and let guys know that now that I've hit 1K, they should expect the content to go up as well. Content will go up. I'm gonna start showing my wife a little bit more of my content. I wasn't comfortable showing her previously, um, until like I got to a level where I was monetized, but I wasn't gonna pimp her out to get monetized, as I had said why earlier, because I've seen other folks do that, and it seems kind of low brow to me to do that. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. And like I said, I would have hit that long time ago, but I only do this as a hobby. It's not a full-time thing. Like you guys would be surprised how much goes into content creation. Like their colleges are now doing majors in becoming social media influencers, and what that's I don't know who I don't know what to say about that. I don't know if that means that society has hit an all-time low, or that says I don't know what that says more about the economy, the low state of our education system, or about people's chances for success. Like either way, I don't think it sounds well for society that there are now universities where you can take either a course in social media influencing, or they have entire majors just around becoming a social media influencer. I think that's horrible. And I don't consider myself a media influencer. I just create content. But yeah, but the folks who do this like full time, it's like I used to make fun of them, but it actually does. They do actually do a lot. Like they have to, but most of them also they hire people who will help them edit it and market stuff, because I have a bunch of people on my LinkedIn, like Filipinos that I've connected with on LinkedIn, who actually know how to do that a lot of that stuff. And I probably would hire some of them if I actually get to that level where I would need it. But there's like hours and hours that go into just editing content itself. Then you got people who make sure to promote and market it across different platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Um, then you got all a bunch of other stuff that can go into it. Like I said, I've only just done this as a hobby, but if I wanted to get into it hardcore, I would have to hire people to do so. It couldn't just be me doing it alone, and nor me relying on my wife because she has a whole job as a banker. So she's a banker, so she doesn't have time to do help me do this sort of stuff. Like she moderates every once in a while when she works from home, but that's pretty much it. But anyway, the original conversation was on hip hop. It went far askew. I'm about to go because I can't see who's still on here other than you two guys, Josh and Timothy. Um, but if I lost everyone else when I had my temporary disconnection, I'm just gonna call it a night where I am. It's currently past midnight, so Josh says I feel like that could be a just subject in photography, media, or adult video, etc. Instead of being a one whole degree, then as you mentioned right now, marketers and such. So I know some places offer just like a course on it, but there are universities literally offering a degree in it, and to me that's more useless than a gender studies degree, or I don't know. They're kind of up there with useless communications, gender studies, social media influencer. I think those are all kind of like equally useless degrees. But and by the way, I've done a whole video on what I think are the most useless degrees and majors. But yeah, I definitely forgot the whole social media influencer major that has come out last year. Only a few universities are doing it, and I think most of them are overseas. There might be one here in America. I know there are several American universities that offer courses on content creation, and some of them have been in photography, like you're suggesting, like in videography and photography, stuff like that. But now that they have whole majors on it, that just seems it couldn't be my kid. I would not let my kid waste my money getting a degree in social media influencing. Like you don't need a degree in it to do it. To me, that's like in that video, just in case you don't, no one wants to take the time to watch that video, which is completely fine. But basically, I basically say that most people get what a bullshit major is wrong because everyone comes at it from a subjective viewpoint. So I gave a more um, objectively defined concept of a bullshit major. It's basically a major you don't need to get a job in that very field for which you got the degree. So again, communications is definitely one of them. Criminal justice is another. Like you don't need degrees in either of those fields to pursue a career in that field. But anyway, and social media is another one of those. It would definitely be up there. So despite that, I'm gonna go because originally I just wanted to talk about hip hop. I already said who my favorite rapper was, which was Biggie, and why. Because he has a in every category you could think of someone being the best. He takes the cake. Bitcoin bot says in college should not be six figures. Yeah, you telling me? Like even the big state schools, which used to be the cheaper alternative than going to those private liberal arts colleges or to the Ivy school or the Ivy League schools, even they are costly. Like the big state schools used to be the cheaper alternative, and those cost a lot. I'm lucky to gone when I have gone back in like late '90s, early 2000s, because now the prices are through the roof. Like if I want to go back to grad school, I know I'm paying a guap to go back to grad school, which I'm eventually going to do. But I'm not looking forward to that. But I definitely agree. It should not be six figures. That's part of the problem with the whole federal student loans is as long as the federal government will subsidize college education with these student loans, the colleges can charge students as much as they want because they know that these federal loan services will pay that price, and then the students will be in debt, will be on the hook for that debt once they finish college. It's a vicious cycle. And then it also means that certain programs are going to get defunded within the colleges because people are only going to pursue the majors that they know will be lucrative enough to pay off that student debt, which basically just turns colleges into trade schools, and that defeats the whole purpose of higher education. So it's a vicious cycle in academia, which is a whole topic for another day. Bitcoin Bot says instead of funding migrants, they should be funding education for people like us that want to go to grad school. Oh yeah, I mean that's not the only reason they shouldn't be funding migrants. Like it's like they're pushing these migrants into already impoverished black communities, and then denying the very resources that those black people have needed for generations, and giving it to migrants, like giving them like an allowance, housing, all sorts of things, and pushing out the very people in that community who needed those resources for generations. It's a it's horrible. So yeah, that's a whole different topic. Thanks, Bitcoin Bot. I appreciate you subbing, buddy. But yeah, we can talk about it another day. Like, guys, I definitely get suggestions. Like the guy above, I don't know if he's still here. His YouTube handle is Kunta Kinte. He wants me to talk about some, you know, black community issues, like with dating and stuff like that. So I've promised him later this week I'm gonna talk about that. If you guys want to talk about the migrant crisis stuff, we can talk about that in another day as well. Um, and then I have a own topic of mine that I want to talk about tomorrow that I was going to do today, but I wanted to talk about, you know, something lighthearted, since I had just hit 1,000 subs, and I wanted to, you know, just talk about something easy breezy like hip hop. I might have to do that again another day because we started talking about hip hop, then it went into a whole left field. Josh Waseda says you said Biggie's your favorite. I seen the display of one of his worn suits in Seattle. I can see why they called him Big Pop. No, he was literally huge. I think he got bigger after he became famous, especially after he crippled after Little C's crippled him in a car crash. I think he gained weight like at his height. I think he got up to like 400. He was like 6'2", like 400 pounds, something like that. So yeah, he was a big dude. Um, what's up, Jonathan? Um, Greetings from Ottawa, Canada. What's up? No. You're cool. It wasn't you going off topic. Like I was already off topic before you even brought up the other stuff. But if you come back another day, we can talk about like education, like the problems with higher education or the migrant crisis. But yeah, getting back to Josh. Yeah, so I said he was my favorite rapper because that was the era in which I grew up. Usually, whatever era you grow up in, like that era when you leave high school or start college, that's right around the time where that's probably like your favorite era of music, like the end of high school, beginning of college, that whole era, and that was for me, Biggie. Uh, but also, I mentioned that I think in every category you can consider for someone being the best rapper, he meets or exceeds those qualifications. Like when you if you talk about lyricism, he was like one of the best lyricists of his time. Not too many can hang with him then or now, and all the people who could hang with him, were also some of the best rappers out there. Tracy, the topic was hip hop. No, I never did. I no, I never got to see him live. I got to see a lot of other people live. Um, but I missed. I knew. I think it was one time he was performing in DC and I missed it, but I never got to see him live. I got to see other legends live like Busta Rhymes and LL Cool J and some other folks. Um, Ghostface Killer and Raekwon the Chef, Jizza, uh, Uncle Luke, um, Foxy Brown, um, Talib Kweli, uh, Outkast. I remember Jay-Z was supposed to play at my university, University of Maryland, and it's funny because the year that he was supposed to perform at Maryland, it actually came into his song H to the Izzo because he said I was herbing him in the home of the Terrapins because he was saying like our we had a student run entertainment um group there that decided on people who came to perform there every year for our music fest called the art we called it the what was it, the art festival something I forgot, but anyway, they tried to get Jay-Z to come, but they were saying he was too expensive and that if they got him they wouldn't be able to get other performers because they always got like two like three or four different performers for the fest each year, and they said they got him they wouldn't be able to afford to get anyone else. And I was telling one of the people who worked there, I was like, no one would have cared if you didn't get anyone else. All you needed was Jay-Z. He could have just rocked it the whole time. No one would have cared about any other performer. And I remember the girl, she was like, well, yeah, but still, I was like, she was hemming and hawing, so I was like, whatever. I was like, no one would have cared if you didn't have any other performer but Jay-Z. But it literally went to his song H to the Izzo when he said, um, he's like H to the Izzo, V to the Izzy, for shizzle my nizzle used to keep it, you know. Anyway, so he was saying I was herbing him in the home of the Terrapins. Say that was too expensive. Work. He says if they were short with cheese, I'd work with them. Whatever, whatever. But he was talking about when he was supposed to perform at University of Maryland. Oh, you saw him live? That's what's up. Like I said, we would have saw him live if our student entertainment didn't mess that didn't mess the bag up. But anyway, so I never saw Biggie live. But the reasons I consider him the best is because, like I said, all the qualifications for what makes a great rapper he hit. Like he was a lyricist. Not too many can hang with him lyrically. The ones who did hang with him were also rap legends in their own. Um, he he was one of the best MCs. And when I say MCs, I mean in traditional sense of move the crowd. Like if he performed or if you heard his songs being played at a club, a party, instantly everyone was out dancing. At the same time, he had that street he had that street cred. Like he hardcore guys could vibe to his music. But number four is that he had that radio friendly mass appeal, and it's not a lot of rappers who can both have the street shit and have the radio friendly mass appeal at the same time. Most rappers either have one or the other. They don't have both. He had both. And then fifth, he could do the storytelling, like Slick Rick, like Nas, like I think all some of the best rappers had the storytelling. So he had all of those five virtues that make a great rapper. So to me, that's why he's the best. Tracy said I've seen Busta Rhymes live, New Edition, Run DMC, way back in the day. Yeah. Um, no, don't. I'm in my 40s, so you're not dating yourself any more than me. So, and New Edition, I don't know if you meant you saw. The only way you dating yourself more than you uh, older than me is if you saw a New Edition like back in the 80s, like when Ralph Tresvant, before he, you know, before he got a deeper voice. Like if you talk about Ralph Tresvant before he, when he still had the child voice, or Bobby Brown when he still had a singing voice. Because remember, he was the one who sung the hook. He's the one who took the lead on Mr. Telephone Man. That wasn't Ralph. That was that was Bobby. Because Bobby was actually the one who formed the group, and he sung the lead on Mr. Telephone Man. Because I always thought that was Ralph Tresvant, but that was Bobby Brown who sung that. But anyway, unless you're talking about New Edition in the '80s, you're not dating yourself more than me. You might be talking about New Edition when they came back in the '90s, or when they came back in the 2000s. So, and Run DMC has never, well, until DMC's tragic death. I mean, not DMC. I'm sorry, Jam Master Jay. Um, when Jam Master Jay died, then they were still performing up until I think when Jam Master Jay died, and I think Run and D might still perform with a different DJ now, and I'm not sure. Reverend Run. So I had tickets to see Slick Rick, but I never got a chance to get to it. Yeah, that would have been dope. Joshua says to put your hands in the air if use it true. Hey, Eric Blackwell, what do you think about Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? I'm sorry, I literally talked about that for almost a half an hour, like an hour ago. I don't want to go back into it. Like, I'll just say I think the fight is going to be a draw. It's not going to be a knockout fight. Bro looks 35. Now I'm 10 years older than that. Rad Dennis has just turned on Kendrick versus Drake. Who doing it? Like, again, I literally said that Kendrick, obviously. Like, anyone saying Drake is just trying to be a contrarian, and not, no pun intended, since my YouTube name is Just A Contrarian, I'm not a contrarian. So it's obviously Kendrick. Like, Drake would have to pull something out of the air. Like, he would he's going to he would need a ghostwriter right now to even come back at Kendrick. And I mean a ghostwriter who's like Jay-Z or something, or he's done. And it's not just his rap credibility that's shot after his beef with Kendrick. It's his reputation. Like, I always thought he was like whack anyway. Like, he's bubblegum rap, but his reputation is shot. Metamora says, "What's up?" Bitcoin Boss says, "Do you think it takes a rough upbringing for a rapper to be really respected? Drake is an artist, but Kendrick is a rapper, in my opinion." No, and that's, I mentioned this earlier. Well, you weren't here, so I'm not gonna blame you. But no, what I said was there are rappers who came from suburban backgrounds and they've done well. But the thing was, they never pretended to be from the streets. You have a lot of rappers like that. Actually, you have a lot of rappers who have degrees, and but they don't necessarily talk about it in their music. But you have a lot of educated dudes who are in the hip hop industry. People like Lil Jon is educated. David Banner has a master's degree. Um, a bunch of these guys you wouldn't think are educated, but they just don't talk about it in their music because they're trying to appeal to hood guys. But at the same time, a lot of them don't pretend they're from that they're from the hood, or they live that criminal life. The worst thing nowadays is you have these younger rappers who never even grew up in the life, that criminal life that is, and they will join gangs or do a bunch of criminal shit after they become rappers just to gain street credibility for their music, which is the dumbest thing I ever heard of in my life. A lot of people in the early days left the criminal life to become musicians and artists and actors. They didn't become artists and musicians and then later get into criminal life to boost their credibility as an artist, which is insane. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of hip hop artists that come. Old Dirty Bastard wasn't a hood dude like that. Like, he lived in Brooklyn, but again, Brooklyn wasn't all. Brooklyn is partly suburban, like part depending on where you lived in Brooklyn, it could have been quite suburban. Even Biggie, like where Biggie lived in Bed-Stuy, he didn't live in the worst parts of Bed-Stuy. He used to sell dope in the bad parts of Brooklyn, but where he lived wasn't bad. It wasn't like where Jay-Z lived, where he lived in Marcy Home Projects. That was a bad area, um, but where Biggie lived, that wasn't the worst part of Brooklyn. But he, he was definitely in that life, unfortunately. Um, but a lot of those dudes aren't from the hood, and they've had no problems like being good rappers. And then again, the earliest rappers you didn't even know used to have a really rough upbringing because they never talked about it or in their music. There's a lot of these dudes that you would have never known were like straight up drug dealers and gang affiliated back in the day. People didn't know people like LL Cool J was a dope dealer and stuff like that because that's not stuff he talked about in his music. So he said ICP. Bitcoin Bot says they should be promoting the education to the youth. I mean, some do, but most don't because it's all marketing. Hip hop today is marketing, and you have to have a certain fit a certain profile. And we already know that a lot of people who promote the most trashiest elements of hip hop tend to be invested in other things that aren't good for the community, like investing in prisons and stuff like that. So, but yeah, there's been a lot of artists um, that have actually been educated and have had good upbringings, but that doesn't get highlighted enough. Like I've met artists. So a friend of mine from college, Barmani Arma, had a hit back in the day where he could have gone mainstream, but he never decided to sign with one of those big record labels. But he was, kind of known in DC for a while. He used to have this hit that became a music became a music video called "Read a Book." But um, but as far as this beef, to be honest, up until the latest diss song from Kendrick, I honestly thought this beef was fake because there were some hip hop insiders saying that all these guys were pretty much cool with each other behind the scenes. Um, you know, if you guys remember DJ Kid Capri, he used to like he used to DJ a lot of stuff in New York City and around the country, and he used to do the do all the music production for Def Comedy Jam back in the '90s. He actually did a rap album back in the day too. That shit was whack. But anyway, he even did a rap album. But he said, man, he said a lot of these guys when the beef was starting to first happen, he's like, man, all these people. He said The Weeknd, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Drake. Who else was involved? But Jay Electronica, I don't know. All these guys. He was like, man, all these dudes hang out with each other like behind the scenes. He's saying y'all buying into this. So so listening to Kid Capri, I was pretty much in agreement with him that this beef wasn't real. That they were probably other people were joking like these dudes are probably on Zoom with each other discussing the different stuff they want to use to diss each other in each track. So I don't know because this one sounds real. The thing with Kendrick and Drake, I don't know if it started off real, but it's definitely real now because it definitely hurt Drake's music career. So I'm guessing it's real. But to me, I was joking because I used to say because I remember several weeks ago I was telling people on my Facebook, I was like, until someone gets shot, their baby mother gets fucked, or like, or someone gets stabbed in the studio, I'm not believing that this is a real beef. Because the '90s spoilers, the '90s had real beefs, particularly Biggie and Tupac, and then even with 50 and Ja Rule and all of them, like that was real. Like Ja Rule stabbed that man in the studio. You know, 50 got shot by the dudes that were funding funding Murder Inc. and all that stuff. Like these were beasts. Or these were Eminem and Benzino. Like Benzino still hates that man. Like every time he does an interview, he's talking trash about Eminem. Like give it up. He killed your career. I mean, it's you can tell. I mean, Eminem definitely ended his career because most people don't even remember that Benzino was a rapper. They may remember that he used to be one of the publishers for the Source magazine, but most people don't remember Benzino used to be a rapper too. But I mean, Eminem pretty much killed his career. But if that didn't, finding out that he was with a trans woman definitely did later. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go. It's late. Um, I think I chewed the breeze with you guys. Again, appreciate everyone that's liked the videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications, have shared my videos, have let other people know about the channel. I appreciate all of that. Please continue to do so if you haven't yet. But I'm gonna hit the bricks for tonight. um, Probably grab a quick snack. Do a little calisthenics first. Metamorph says, so one question, do you have any recommendations or advice? How do you get rid of male yeast testicular? All right. I'm pretty sure you're not being serious, though. Because that's not something you would ask another dude. Um, Nabob is gone. Yeah, I've never even heard of male yeast testicular infection, so I'm pretty sure you're trying to be funny. So, Josh, nice talking with you. Everyone else, Metamoros, he's being timed out because he's being an idiot. Like, even if he was being serious, like that's some incel shit to be asking another grown man how to take care of your own balls. Negro, go to the fucking doctor. That's how. But he's trolling. Like I said, it's mostly kids and dudes who should probably be on a government watch list that troll live streams, because no normal individual, no normal adult would. The only people who do it are kids and men who need to be on a government watch list somewhere. Because anyone else would have 1,000 other things better to do than come on a live stream. What did I think about BTC? You talking about Bitcoin? I don't trust it. I don't trust cryptocurrency in general because I think it's mostly the newest pyramid scheme, to be honest. Also, it's just not useful as a actual currency. Like the only places used in a currency is either in the black market or on porn sites like Pornhub, because back when that expose came out in the New York Times, that there was a lot of revenge porn and underage uh, people in some of those videos on Pornhub. They like there was like an instant backlash to it. So the only way that people could pay for the stuff there was um, to use cryptocurrency. So that's pretty much one of the only places you'll use Bitcoin as an actual currency, because most people don't use it as a currency. They use it to bank it up, hoping that other people come in to buy up more of it, which drives up the value of their Bitcoin, uh, which is why it's like your prototype of a pyramid scheme. It's just a 21st century digital pyramid scheme, but it has the same markings of any other pyramid scheme. Once you get rid of all the digital um, digital gobbledygook. Well, yeah, if you've been in the 2014, that's different. But again, the success of your Bitcoin depends on other people coming up behind you to buy it up, and people coming up behind them, and so on and so on. That's a pyramid structure. It it's a decentralized currency, so there's nothing on its own that makes it value other than the confidence of the buyers of it. So it's not a long-term investment strategy. It's something that very wealthy people can play with and make a quick buck, and then they'll move on, but no one's going to use it as a long-term investment strategy. So I think it's really stupid when people have started doing these digital IRAs, switching their their IRA um, funds to digital currency, because that's not something that's long term that could be useful for retirement investing. It would be very wrong headed to do so. Well, the inflation of dollar, no, so well, I don't want to get into that because we can go into talking about cryptocurrency for a long time. But I mean, like I said, the some of the most foremost people in, like, I've taken probability, and some of the most foremost experts in probability, chance, like what's his name, Nassim Nicholas Talib, who wrote the famous book The Black Swan. So he knows all about game theory, chance, probability theory. He's like one of the most foremost experts on that. He was originally for Bitcoin and stuff like that. Then he realized how big of a scam that it was, and he basically has said that people would be crazy to deal with that stuff. Like I said, if people like Mark Cuban want to play with it, that's fine. He's a billionaire. He won't be hurting if he wants to sink a few million in that. But for the average person who may who whose life savings altogether may not be more than like a million or two, if that, because most people don't even have that amount of money in their overall savings. But for someone to put like half of that into cryptocurrency, or even a third of it, it would ruin them if something happens, because we saw how it dropped off like 4 years ago, and it's just going to keep plummeting. It is it's a bubble that's bound to crash, this bound to bust with sooner or later. And you don't want to be the one left holding the bag when that happens, because the digital currency will be literally nothing. So that's all I got to say about that, since you asked me. No, I'm leaving anyway, Josh. I was just answering this last question from Bitcoin Bot, because he's been a cool dude. Like, honestly, I when I first saw the name Bitcoin Bot like several days ago when you first appeared, I thought you were going to be a troll. But you've been cool. You've been a cool guy, ever since we've chatted. So please keep coming back. Um, but yeah, like I said, if you played around with it 2014, that's good. Maybe you've even done some mining of it yourself. I think that was the most profitable way to do it. If those people had those IT skills, that they could actually mine their own Bitcoin back like 20 years ago or whatever. But nowadays, it just wouldn't be invested. It's only a limited amount of Bitcoin out there, and most of the super wealthy people own those coins, whereas most people are getting fractions of a fraction of it. So it's not worth the investment for the average person. So, all right, guys. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for contributing and commenting. Thanks for the folks who've liked the video, who've subbed, um, or hit notifications, who've shared the videos, all that good stuff. And like I said, since we've hit over 1,000, Mrs. Contrarian is going to do something special for us in a few days. Be on the lookout for that. Drums living. What's up? But I'm out, guys. If you guys want to catch this in its entirety, it will be uploaded. So appreciate it. And if you guys want a chat about cryptocurrency, we can just do a whole live stream about that on another day. All right. But it is like 4 hours past my bedtime. I actually like to go to bed early, but um, I get lost um, sometimes talking. So, but I'm out of here, guys. See you later. Thank you.